Virginia Giuffre, a woman who bravely confronted powerful figures and dedicated her life to advocating for victims of sexual abuse, died on April 25, 2025, at the age of 41. Her passing, ruled a suicide by Australian authorities, sent shockwaves through both sides of the Atlantic, casting a harsh light on the often unseen scars of trafficking and abuse. Giuffre's life story was tragically intertwined with that of Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced financier, and her allegations against him and his associates, including Prince Andrew, Duke of York, made international headlines. Born in 1983, Giuffre's early life was marked by hardship and instability. She later revealed a childhood marred by abuse, experiences that deeply shaped her path. This difficult upbringing ultimately led her to cross paths with Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's former girlfriend and alleged accomplice, when Giuffre was just a teenager. This encounter would prove to be a turning point, drawing her into Epstein's orbit and setting in motion a chain of events that would come to define her life. Giuffre's story, however, was not simply one of victimhood. She refused to be silenced, becoming a powerful voice for survivors of trafficking and abuse. Her decision to speak out against Epstein and his powerful associates, despite facing intense scrutiny and legal pressure, inspired many others to come forward. She dedicated years of her life to fighting for justice for herself and others, seeking to hold abusers accountable and create a world where survivors' voices are heard and believed. Giuffre's untimely death at her farm in Western Australia marked a tragic end to a life marked by both immense pain and extraordinary resilience. Though her voice has been silenced, her story continues to resonate, a stark reminder of the pervasive nature of sexual abuse and the importance of supporting survivors in their pursuit of justice and healing. At the heart of Giuffre's story lies a web of powerful connections and disturbing allegations. She was just 17 years old when she was introduced to Jeffrey Epstein, the enigmatic financier known for his lavish lifestyle and association with high-profile individuals. Giuffre maintained that she was recruited to work for Epstein under false pretenses and was subsequently trafficked and abused by him and his associates, including Prince Andrew, the Duke of York. Giuffre's allegations against Prince Andrew sent shockwaves through the British monarchy. She alleged that she was forced to have sex with the prince on 3 separate occasions, encounters she detailed in court filings and media interviews. Prince Andrew vehemently denied these claims, but the scandal cast a long shadow over his reputation and ultimately led to his withdrawal from public life. The lawsuit was settled out of court in 2022, with Andrew making a substantial donation to Giuffre's charity, though he continued to deny any wrongdoing. Epstein, facing mounting legal pressure and public scrutiny, died by suicide in a Manhattan jail cell in 2019 while awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges. His death, however, did little to quiet the storm of allegations surrounding him. Ghislaine Maxwell, his longtime companion, was arrested in 2020 and later convicted on charges of sex trafficking and conspiracy related to her role in Epstein's abuse network. Giuffre's allegations against Epstein and Prince Andrew, though never fully adjudicated in a court of law, brought renewed attention to the issue of sex trafficking and the ways in which powerful individuals can exploit their positions to silence and intimidate victims. Her willingness to speak out, despite facing immense pressure and personal attacks, helped to embolden other survivors to come forward and demand justice. In the aftermath of her experiences, Virginia Giuffre made the courageous decision to turn her pain into a force for good. She became a vocal advocate for survivors of sexual abuse and trafficking, using her platform to raise awareness and demand accountability. In 2015, she founded SOAR, Speak Out Against Rape, a non-profit organization dedicated to supporting survivors and fighting for systemic change. SOAR, under Giuffre's leadership, provided a range of services to survivors, including counseling, legal aid, and advocacy. The organization played a critical role in connecting survivors with resources and offering a safe space for them to heal and rebuild their lives. Giuffre's personal story became a source of strength and inspiration for many, demonstrating the power of resilience and the importance of breaking the silence surrounding abuse. Beyond her work with SOAR, Giuffre was a tireless advocate for legislative reform. She traveled the world, speaking at conferences and events, sharing her story and urging lawmakers to strengthen laws protecting victims of trafficking and abuse. She was a vocal proponent of extending statutes of limitations for child sex abuse cases, arguing that survivors should have ample time to come to terms with their experiences. and seek justice. Giuffre's advocacy work extended beyond legal and legislative arenas. She understood the importance of changing societal attitudes toward sexual abuse and challenging the culture of silence that often protects abusers. She used her voice to empower other survivors, encouraging them to speak out, seek help, and reclaim their lives. Virginia Giuffre's death on April 25, 2025, sent shockwaves through the global community that had come to know her name and her story. The news, met with an outpouring of grief and tributes from fellow survivors, advocates, and public figures, served as a stark reminder of the lasting impact of trauma and the urgent need for continued support for victims of abuse. Giuffre's family, in a statement released shortly after her passing, spoke of their profound loss and the immense pain she carried with her throughout her life. Virginia's courage and unwavering pursuit of justice, the statement read, inspired countless others who had suffered in silence. Her legacy will live on in the fight for a world where all survivors are heard, believed, and supported. The statement also addressed the circumstances surrounding her death, attributing it to the deep emotional scars left by years of abuse and exploitation. The trauma and relentless attacks she endured took an unimaginable toll, the family shared, ultimately leading her to a place of despair from which she could not escape. Virginia Giuffre's life and death serve as a tragic reminder of the complex and enduring consequences of sexual abuse. Her story, though marked by immense pain, is ultimately one of resilience, courage, and a deep commitment to fighting for justice for herself and others. Her legacy will continue to inspire generations to come, urging us to create a world where all survivors are empowered to speak their truth and find healing.